The person is, this would rarely apply to most of us here. Some, maybe. Maybe some who wouldn't admit it. The person is cooking, and in cooking he has a taste to see if the broth, the soup, or the thing is coming out good. So if it needs more salt or so on, and he just puts the drop in his mouth and tastes it. Then he spits it out, doesn't swallow it. There's no requirement for a bracha. But if he's going to swallow this drop, and he put it in his mouth to taste, the purpose wasn't taste. If he wasn't to swallow it, there's a something that it needs a bracha or not, because it's not for the sake of eating, the sake of swallowing, it's just for the sake of tasting. Yet he's going to swallow it, he'll have enough. So therefore, what he did is that he should have in mind, he wants to have enough, means pleasure, satisfaction, and then he's able to swallow and make a bracha in the first place. He should be careful that he has in mind to have enough out of this, and enable him to make the bracha. Of course, when an amateur is cooking, there's not much hana he can have out of this taste of this. You have to at least pretend, at least he's eating for the sake of enough. If not for the sake of, there are two kinds of enough. One is for the sake of pleasure, taste, sweets. Another is the pleasure of becoming filled, satiated. The person is hungry, he'll eat anything. He would, as long as he gets rid of his pangs of hunger. No matter how bad it is, he'll eat it because of necessity. The person's married to a wife whose cooking is the kind that fills him up, but that's it. The same kind of thing, he has to make a bracha for it. Of course, there's a thing about anybody who does the cooking, and we say sometimes you have, it is he who does the cooking, without admitting it. And there are men who are good cooks, too. It's important to know this din, for those rare cases, at least, very important, extremely important, to notify the wife about this. Women have to know this din because this applies to us. Women are required, too, to make their bracha before eating or drinking. And then it's the same din, the same halacha. There's no over here. The same halacha, you're not allowed to steal. It's like the person who eats or drinks without a bracha is like stealing property of Hashem. Women too is required to know this, and therefore this din about tasting should be known by them. They should have enough, they should have chavruta to have enough. This way they're able to make a bracha, even though they swallow just a tiny drop. Remember again that the chiyuv bracha is for the tiniest drop, bracha rishona, bracha before eating, the bracha after eating requires a special shir, which will come to later. A person who eats or drinks something for the sake of medication. So he has to drink a certain cough medicine, liquid, or he takes certain pills. Now, if it happens that this is sweet, it has good taste, let's say it's cough drops, which are sweet, tasty, and he has pleasure. In that case, then he must make a bracha before, and a bracha afterwards if he eats the shir. If not, it's necessary. Even, the shir is even if this medicine is treif. Say it has treif ingredients, and the doctor has to show him, ordered that he has to take this medicine in order to cure it. In that case, then what happens? Since that medicine is a necessity, the Torah now permits this food. What was before usur, forbidden, and now becomes permissible. Since it becomes a permissible food, he has to make a bracha on it. For him, this is kosher. He must make a bracha on the food he's going to eat. This, of course, is all if the food is tasty, if there's pleasure in it. But if it's a pill that is bitter, there's no hana whatsoever from it, and he can take this pill, swallow it without a bracha at all. Or a liquid that's bitter. Sometimes cough medicines come with a sweet base, cherry base usually, and sometimes they come without a base at all, where it's very bitter liquid. The green stuff is very bitter, which doctors should take. Just they recommend it. So there is no din of a bracha that's necessary for that. And of course, again, we must caution, very much so. All these medicines, if they are sweet, it's just a mask over it. It's very rarely a good medicine. And this Arizal is said many times, we spoke and repeated it, and we say this very quietly because we're ridiculed by people in general. until the guilty parties themselves, who admitted the whole series of articles submitted by doctors themselves, that they know nothing, and this is exactly the words of the who said doctors admit they know nothing. In those days, again, history repeats itself, doctors admitted that they know nothing, but there's nothing different than before. They really know nothing, and they do a lot of harm. And in prescribing medicines, medication, that too is very harmful, because most medicines, the simple fact is, we're not going into any depth and Ruach HaKodesh, simple fact is that medicine is something that has a radical item to it. Radical, it's supposed to cure a certain part of the body. Now, the medicines do not have a notice on them with lights telling you when to turn right, when to turn left to get the liver medicines. It's supposed to cure the liver. Medicine goes right from the mouth, right to the liver. It knows how to drive through the major traffic of arteries and internal organs to get right to the liver itself. Medicine takes effect as it travels along different parts of the body too. So what it does for the liver, knows it does for the other parts of the body. So it's supposed to disintegrate part of the liver. As it rides along merrily, the person just deteriorates. So this medicine, which is supposed to be good, has what's known as its side effects, and it's so harmful. Rosenfeld right. Rosenfeld says, in fact, he's made this statement on the day of his estaltus. When a person passes away, then he better be careful. It means he was sick. But be careful he doesn't have any medicines in his stomach. Because if he does, then he will first suffer after he dies. Those medicines start to show. So in other words, the person should try his best to avoid medication. Try his best. If it's that rough, it must, of course, you can't help it. But if possible, avoid just taking medicines for the sake of medicines, like vitamin pills, people with pop pills, pill poppers. There are different kinds of pills that are worthless, that are harmful, and that are against the advice of the Torah, the advice of the Arizal, because the Torah itself says that Hashem wants a person not to have confidence in doctors at all, or medicines, but to have confidence in Hashem. Surely, you say, if you pickle Tillim, there are no side effects that are there. That's guaranteed. That much you have the advantage over all medications. And surely you're going to the best of doctors. You should be zecher to have this Amunah Shleima, and that's of course never to have suffer any kind of illnesses, to have complete continuous Shleimus, and to see the Adinu, yes, which is here in the person is eating something, and while eating a piece of food, a particle happened to go down the wrong way. Then he's sort of coughing and choking on it. So what does the person do to get rid of it? He swallows a piece of bread, or he drinks some liquid to get it down. Now, if the only reason why he is eating that piece of bread or drinking liquid just to get down what he swallowed, but not because he wants to have any pleasure out of food, then he still must make a bracha on the food or liquid he's drinking. Of course, the fact is it's going down his throat and he is having pleasure out of it. However, if this liquid is water, then there is no pleasure in water at all unless a person is actually thirsty. Water gives no pleasure except in time of thirst. There's no taste to it. It's tasteless, and it only satiates a person's thirst. If he's not thirsty, it's just being drunk for the sake of getting this food particle down. There's no bracha for the water either before or after drinking. Now, a person forgets the quality of shikha, very popular, and it exists very much so, especially today's weak minds. We today are filled with a brain that is very inferior to the old time brains. The factories are starting to produce much weaker material. That many people can be very thankful that there's a connection, strong tie between the head and the body. Otherwise, they'll forget their heads very often. Now, this happens when a person forgets. Worse more, he forgets. He takes a piece of food or something, and he puts it into his mouth. You have to make a bracha on it. What happens then while it's in his mouth? In this case, then, if it's an item where if he would take it out of his mouth and it would not be spoiled by it or soiled, say it's a chunk of apple, he can take it, put it in his hand, and then put it back in his mouth. If you have a case like that, if you take it out of his mouth, hold on to it, say a bracha over it, and then resume eating it. He should not say a bracha while the food particle is in his mouth. He's supposed to say a bracha with the mole feed to him second. The praise of Hashem should be complete. The mouth should be clear, only for saying a praise, not for anything else in it. But if this is a case of an item, or if he spit it out, it becomes spoiled, say it's already mashed up. So spit it out means to waste it. And wasting food is so serious a crime. In this case, he has to move it over to the side of his mouth, this chewed up food. So while it's on the side of his mouth, he just then say the bracha on it. This is the limit. If it's possible to remove it from his mouth, you have to remove it and say the bracha, or else you move it inside of the mouth and say the bracha. If this happens with liquid, you're going to move it inside of the mouth because it rolls around. In that case, then, if he has more of this liquid, then he should spit this out because liquid is not considered a waste of food like food is, like hard food is, like solids are. If he can afford more, he still has more, throw this out, and then make a bracha on what he's going to drink. If this is the last drop he had, he might himself the very last moment, the very timely last second he had this in his mouth, then he had an exceptional case. In this case, where he's allowed to swallow that which he had in his mouth, and then say the bracha shakal over this liquid, which is unusual because bracha was always be said before you eat the item and drink it. In this case, though, because of the fact that he reminded himself while it was still in his mouth, is considered like saying it before. This is everyone else. In this case, then he's allowed to swallow the liquid first because there's no more available, and then say the bracha d'shena, which also usually, in this case, will serve for a bracha chalila too. You have a unique case. When he says the bracha d'shena, there's no bracha chalila to this liquid. It is said after he has already swallowed. The best thing, of course, is a person should be zeichet to zikonim, study the kusha, not to forget, keep his wits about him, remember always what he's doing, and mechaber very much the big afternoon, which is one of the most important items out. Have chavruta with saying a bracha, think of the bracha you're saying before you say it, before you eat food, think of the fact you must pay for it. That way a person will always remember the tusha, what his mission is and what his duty is. We should zeichet to this kind of mission. This zeichet saying, just as brachos, if a person has two kinds of fruit, exactly the same in front of him, so he has an apple and a pear, and he wants to eat both, and he must make one bracha and have a mind to cover both. Because if he has a mind to cover only wants to sift havana just for one, deliberately, not for the other, and then he eats a second one later to make a second bracha on it, that's called a bracha she'ena tzricha, a completely unnecessary bracha to say Hashem's name to our Torah. So therefore he must make a bracha on one to cover the other. At the same time, he must keep in mind that if one of them is better than the other, let's say he has an apple and a nut. The apple is worth more than the nut. Two fruits, two items, anytime, which one is better than the other, more chashuv, more important. Always make the bracha on a chashuv one, the second one becomes pater automatically. This is only if they are two the same kind. In other words, both are vertically heights. Then you're not allowed to deliberately make two brachas. But if you have a vertically heights and make a dama, so you have a piece of an apple plus a piece of melon is a dama, then even though the deal is that, let's say you take an apple and make a dama on it, and you eats it in the other. Make the bracha in the wrong, but you eat it because the tree eats grows from the dama too. So the dama covers the tree. Or if you say shahakal on it, shahakal covers the eights and the adama, everything comes from is shahakal. So it is true that shahakal covers everything, yet shahakal, a person making the evidence yates in the chatchila, he is definitely wrong, very wrong. That's the work of Adam Horetz, He makes the wrong brachas for not learning. The person is mechuyev to go learn the brachas, not to make a shahakal. So in this case then, it is wrong for a person to make an adama and cover both the melon and the fruit, the apple. In this case, you must say two separate brachas. Which bracha comes first? Naturally, the ben creates. So we say the adama first, and the eights will be finished, we cover. So this is why you mustn't make the ben creates first, but that's not the actual reason. But Rosenfeld gives a gallery reason, maybe because the ikar, what is the idea of the brachas, is to spread the fasting, the malchus shem shalom, Hashem Melech HaKol Haaretz. So in that case then, if you say Shahakal Yivarai, that shows Hashem is rules over everything, covers everything there is, he spreads the knowledge that Hashem is so good. He says Hashem is Melech Benpi Adama, that confines it to a small item. So, which means then that it would seem to us that Adama is much less valuable than Menachem than Shahakal. So if an item is valuable, then there's always the fact that it goes first. We give a precedence. How could you make an Adama before Shahakal? Like Shahakal is worth that much more. Much greater color to Hashem. How can you say for 8 before Adama if Adama is worth more than our 8? Because 8 shows only that Hashem created the fruit of the tree. Adama shows the tree, the earth, and everything on the earth. In the earth, on the earth, the trees and everything is included. So shouldn't Adama be given preference over 8 as a matter of chashivas? This, of course, is undeniable. You cannot refute this statement. The fact is that what is chashiv comes first. Nothing says it is true that what is chashiv comes first, always. In this case, therefore, we must say it is fact that very clear is more chashiv Adama. More chashiv than Shahakal Yivarai. How? Shahakal is Hashem created everything, and 8 means only just this one tree, just the one item, a singular item. Why is it more chashivas? The answer is that to make a general statement is not as covering, not as chashiv as to make a specific statement, to show a concentrated item where all the cover of Hashem comes out. 33 heights, this singular item here, you see the cover Shemaim, you see the kayach of Hashem, and everything is created through Hashem. This singular came through Hashem. Shahakal means a general, a hazy item. Hashem created all, but it's not that clear. So chashivas is when we see the cover of Hashem coming out. And therefore the heights comes before the Adama and before anything else, because the heights is so concentrated that you can tzimtzum. So in all cases then, a person should always seek to he has 2 the same bracha into review, he should not make separate brachas on them, have a right to cover one for the other, always have a right to cover them. Proof that is no chashiv over the other one. So that if you like the other one better, you should always eat, at least take a bite of the first one, as chashiv, and then the second. So this is an important halacha. Again, when you have a fruit salad, you have to have, you didn't say bracha on it, you must pick out, select from the fruit salad the chashiv item. You have a lot of different types of fruit. You must pick out the one that you like best. Either the pineapple or the apple or the pear or the cherry on top. Anything whichever is most chashiv, that's the one you make a bracha on. You have a mind to cover all the rest of the fruit in the salad. Whereas if you have 2 kinds or 3 kinds, you have the 8, Adama, the Zaydas, and Shahakal, and you must make them in order. And that order you must learn always is the first bracha that makes chashivas precedence over all is the beginning of the Zaydas. You have cake comes first, then comes Ha'etz, then comes Adama, and then comes Shahakal. It's never to the end of Hashem, the end is all Yamenu, and you see, the Yamenu be with the Amen. Meaning that when you sit down to a meal, you're not supposed to get away from the table anymore to continue the meal elsewhere. Wherever you start the meal, that's where it must be finished. Beginning to end, it must be finished in the same place. Now, what if you must walk out of the room and you have a big problem, so that does not mean he's lost the bracha he made on the meal. So if the case of a regular meal, he made a mitzvah, that means you're eating a regular meal, then the din is, or many disagree with this, the din is that you must walk out of the room and you may come back and continue the meal without any change in the pattern. Don't say another bracha for what you just simply continue the meal without any other brachas. But that's only if you go back to the same place where you have been eating. And so you have to leave the dining room and go to the bathroom. And get out of the room, still you can come back and continue the meal. However, if you go to a different home, continue the meal, that's definitely impossible. Unless you have a mud at the time that you wash, here you're going to finish the meal elsewhere, and this too is against the halacha. Some people will do it, and this is definitely wrong, unless it's a certain type of emergency. Say that the person is trying to say that elsewhere for emergency, otherwise this should not be done period. You can go elsewhere to finish the meal. You can finish it, go wash again elsewhere. All this is only if a person is eating a regular meal. It means that he washed, made a mitzvah, this is a regular sunnah. And then, only then, if he walks out, he comes back, he continues the meal. But if a person is not washed, he's eating a fruit, or a piece of cake eating. He made a bracha in one room, he intended to finish the fruit here. And he decided to walk out of the room for a second and come back, he has lost the first bracha, and he's going to eat again, finish that second half of his food, he must make a new bracha. The bigger finish than that is that if a person made a bracha on the food here, he's got the food in his hand, and he walks from one room to the next, he has lost the first bracha. He must make a new bracha here. Changing his place means that there's a new kiruv for a bracha. Which means that a person should not dare to eat something and move from one room to the next. So you run into a very heavy shower. Unless, the time you made the bracha, you definitely had mud, definitely had mud, so you go to the next room. Usually a person does not think such a thing. In most cases, a case like that, then it means that he wants to walk to a different room, let's first make a very refreshes, make a chayda here, and then to make a new bracha else the next room. If a person moves from one place to the next in the same room, then let's say it's a big hall, a wedding hall. They have a smorgasbord which covers the length of the entire hall. You go from one part of the room to the next. That's permissible. This would be therefore that a person doing that will have to make a bracha chayda or what he eats in the smorgasbord before going to a different floor, to a different room to wash. In these cases, there's no question about it. We have to finish whatever you're eating. Finish means to say a bracha chayda before you can walk out of the room. Even if you intend to continue elsewhere, you're better off first saying a bracha chayda, then going yes, making a new bracha. This is better than having in mind even when it's permissible. Also the shas of chai. So kids are a person who is not eating a regular meal. So you consider it a simple bracha and shayla, ready to be asked with a double shotgun, finish what he's eating in the room where he started, and not to the room outside. This is the reason too, possibly what the Gemara says, that Rav of Breslov didn't kill him. The person eats in this out in the street, he runs like a dog. That's kind of the question is that, then you can kill it. Because the person has no regard for the tefillah, for the brachas. Kill it, you want to make it godly too, but that must be kill it show. The person going outside eating say small items, small bits of nuts and things like that, which he keeps on chewing, taking his mouth, he's changing his place each time, and he's causing himself, bringing upon himself a lot of different shadows and rocks. These things are very, very important. very serious, it should be taken very seriously, because this the Halacha are very strict. A person should know that there's a important Chassidut in Brachos. Because Hanedim, one of the Tikuney that exists. We said the first item, a person is Jew point, we must have a Shamdo, a Chalu, Gadlo Beidachel. We said Brachos, they weren't proper. These things a person should, number one, he should learn the dinim, and two, he should carry them out. As soon as the person is blessed. As far as eating at a regular meal at the table, so a person should strive to sit at the table, stay put until the meal is over. Either way, how to walk out temporarily to one different room, but the regular Kriya Suda, not the Shabbos table. This I remember for years and years, it was instilled in us. Our Father Shalom said, you never dare to walk away from the Shabbos table. That's insult the Shabbos table, which is the Kedusha of Shabbos. We're talking about Shabbos table. Shvira is, you wash, you stay at the table till you finish the meal, till you bench. You have a person who's able to have a wife, or a mother, or one who's served, they have separate schar. That's their schar. They have to serve at the table. They're allowed to, and they're blessed for it. Those who sit at the table, eat the same greetings, the Shabbos, should not get up to the table at all until the meal is over. That's called a feast, dealing with the Shvira, which is there to be close to the Shvira, the end of the end of Hashem, the end you see the Brachos of Noah, Shemaim, and you can see the really big shifts in the Clearly, with that chewing, that's a different story, because there you don't have any questions to say. You look at that later on. Bracha Achrona. The dinner of the Bracha Achrona is to make after you're finishing anything. Then is that after all types of fruit and vegetables and anything which does not grow from the ground, the liquids, except wine, the Bracha Achrona is very refreshing. Very refreshing Shabbos. The Chesronon al Koma Sheberosah. Very Kodesh, the Arizal, the Rosenfeld, the Arizal, the Arizal, all are very strong about this point. But the way it should be very strong, al Koma Sheberah, al Koma Sheberosah. Meichach. This bracha is a bracha achrona for combinations too. The person ate a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, a lot of liquid. One minute of flesh ice covers all of these items together. The bracha achrona for certain types of fruits, special fruits of any concern, Arizal, the cake is Aruch Zohar, the word is Aruch. This is called bracha achas mein shalosh. We'll have that more later on. The bracha achrona, and also bigas hamazon, after bread, the meal. This is said only if a person ate the necessary amount. Explain this to the first bracha you say, regarding how little you eat. You need a tiny drop of mushroom, and drink an eyedropper. You must make a bracha because you're getting something, pleasure, and without a bracha it's forbidden. But to say a bracha achrona, benching, that must have a shear, necessary amount of shear. That shear is a kazayas. Kazayas means about the size of half of an egg. About the size of half of an egg. This is according to Machlekes and Teshuva and the Rambam. Since the Aharon and the Yuma brings, the halacha is that the size of the kazayas is 1/2 the size of an egg. And Rambam is it says that it's 1/3 the size of an egg. So we pass the like cases, in these cases, most cases, difference between the nicer and Aharon and the shira, but anyway, it always takes the size of half of an egg as the usual size of the kazayas. Except we find this in Aharon where we take this kula, that's by murder. But usually the case is half of an egg. Anyway, we call that a kazayas. So the thing is that you cannot bench after you eat, or say bracha unless you eat the size of the kazayis. This is as far as eating is concerned. How about drinking is concerned? How much is necessary to drink in order to say a better nefoshes? Or ala gefen. Here, there's a machlekes. Some who say also the size of the kazayis, the size of an egg. Some who say the size of half an egg, and some who say the size of the amount of an avius. The avius halug. Halug is 6 eggs. And therefore the avius needs an egg and a half, which will be 3 times as much as a kazayis. This case, then, because of this machlokes, which is not actually resolved completely, what is the solution? The solution is that a person should never, ever drink less than a avius and more than a kazayis. Between a kazayis and a avius, he should not drink, because then he does not know whether he has to make bracha or not. So he should only drink either less than a kazayis, and there's no bracha or more than an avius or more, and then he's sure that he has to say a bracha. So that point must be kept in mind very careful. Between a kazayis and an avius, a person should not drink because he doesn't know whether he said bracha or not. So if he did drink kazayis a little more, he should then drink up more till an avius. Otherwise, he should not. He drank, let's say, half the kazayis, 3/4 kazayis, he should not drink any more if he doesn't have intention to drink much more than that. Less than a kazayis and more than an avius is a definite chiyuv. In between, he should not drink. This is one of the many cases, Hilchos Brachos, when you come to cases of suffolk. That's what Hilchos Brachos is one of the most difficult series of halachas that exists. One place where you find more unresolved shilas than any other place in Shas, in Shulchan Aruch. You must be very careful then to avoid these shilas, to avoid getting into a shayla like that. In this case, for example, we said, when drinking, a person should always drink enough to either be sure there's no bracha or enough that there is definitely a kiruv bracha holidays. One more halacha, an item which is less than a kazayis, but it is an item in itself, an entire unit. For example, a nut, a whole nut which is one single unit, not part of other things, created by itself. Or let's say almond, a chickpea, any pea by itself, even though this is less than a kazayis, still, since it's a whole fruit, a whole item, a whole unit, therefore there are some who say you do say a bracha chalila after this too. And there are some who argue. Here we have a suffix. Is it permissible to eat one nut? Because, according to some you said, because somebody else said there again, a person should avoid the suffix and never eat a nut or two less than the size of the kazayis, because then he'll be the suffix about bracha. However, if he takes that nut and breaks it, it's no longer a unit, then he eats it, then there's no problem. Surely he's put the bracha unless he eats a full kazayis. Again, a person must be careful eating these items to eat definitely like a whole kazayis of these nuts, or less than, or nothing. There's no way to eat less, because here is a suffix. He ate one single nut, no matter how small it is, he finds is in that suffix. So if he wants to eat less than a kazayis, let him break up this nut before he eats it, so there's no din of a burial of the itself. We should be zecher to the Mashlim has said with the proper brachas, proper knowledge of brachas, as Torah, like the example of Birkas, Hashem, Noah, seeing the Eidido, he has to come to heaven. Brachas, bracha after eat, bracha chayla. He said that the requirement for bracha chayla is you have to eat a kazayis, the size of an olive or half an egg. So if you have two kinds of food, so you have a half of a kazayis of an apple, a half of a kazayis of a pear, and you make a bracha chayla, because together it's a half of a kazayis of many koshes. You have a half of a kazayis of one kind of candy, and another kind of candy, or a piece of meat and a piece of chicken, with water in between, you know, half of each. It is always mitzvah. We add these up to make up a kazayis or bracha chayla. This is simple. But if a person had, let's say, half of a kazayas of fish, and half of a kazayas of a fruit which requires an al-ha'itz, means that now he has half of a kazayas of that which requires body nefashos, half which requires al-ha'itz. Which one of the two does he say? Let's say he had half of a kazayas of bread and half of a kazayas of meat. Which is the one that takes preference? The Good says that the body nefashos is a kilo, just like shahatam is kilo, covers everything. In this case too, body nefashos is kilo, and you make a body nefashos as a bracha chayla. So you had half of a kazayas of a bracha in shalosh. The shalosh means either cake or a special food of Eretz Yisrael, always a pre-Eretz, or you had, or the actual shalosh, which is regular brachas hamazon, bread. And you had only half of that. You don't require that kind of bracha yet, and you have half of kazayas of bread and nefashos. Then the din is you say bread and nefashos. This is simple and clear. But the Shulchan himself, he very rarely adds his own slaughter. In this case, he adds his own slaughter, which is very solid, very logical slaughter. He says, what if you had a half of a kazayas of a fruit which requires achas me'in shalish, which means al ha'etz. In addition, a half a kazayas of cake, which is al ha'michya. Both of these require the bracha achas me'in shalish. Both require the one bracha, half of al ha'etz, half al ha'michya. But you don't have a whole one of either one. So since you have neither one and either one, even though either one of the two is better than nefashos, you still say better than nefashos for this combination of the kazayas. I hope you followed that. Don't fall asleep because it's too early in the morning. So again, if you have half a kazayas of better than nefashos, half a kazayas of al ha'etz, all agree to say better than nefashos. Hitler's chiddush is that if you have half a kazayas of al ha'etz and half of al ha'michya, because there is neither one of the two, you say a bracha will cover both, which is better than nefashos. Whether it is true that if you have a half of a kazayas of al ha'michya and a half a kazayas of bread, these two are already similar. Because both of them are either shalosh or me'in shalosh. Shalosh means the whole biggest of most, and me'in shalosh means part of it. You have the same three brachas brief, the me'in shalosh, part of the three. So in this case, when you have half of bread and half of al ha'michya, half of cake, in this case, then you say the one that is covered both, which is the al ha'michya. You cannot go into the entire veggie because you didn't have a whole kazayas of bread. You don't say better nefashos because the whole brachas, it is definitely, both are definitely part of al ha'michya. This case, then the din says you say al ha'michya for the combination of this kazayas. Now, the next din is that we said that a kazayas is the minimum in order to make a bracha chayla, whether it's better nefashos, al ha'michya, or benchi. This kazayas must be eaten naturally in a certain limited amount of time. When a person takes a kazayas and divides it into three parts, and eats 1/3 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and 1/3 at 4, 1/3 at 6. As you say, but a bracha chayla, they're not instead they don't combine the three, unless the kazayas is eaten within a prescribed amount of time, which is b'dei achilas pras, which is approximately 4 eggs. The time it takes to eat 4 eggs, this of course, depending upon the type of person, could take no time at all by some, and there are some very, very slow eaters. They don't have it. They don't have to. There are slow eaters who's listening. I'm slow eater. So to take it in an unlimited time. Take a week to get through 4 eggs, dividing one every other day. But this din of B'dei Achilas Pras refers to a lot of halachas. Now, we do not find clearly these none, except in one place, not one, specified place we find, where the Chasam Sefer gives these none as 9 minutes. It's a very unusual none. It's very low, 9 minutes to eat 4 eggs. And then we get through breakfast then. And yet, that's as well that he says, and of course that's what we take in the Chumrah. must be taken by chumrah, which means that in certain places where it requires longer time, we say it for 9 minutes. In this case, the chilas kazayas, it would seem, because we already authority said, but I would say that at least we should rush and finish it well before 9 minutes. Much before, as much as possible before, not to run into this suffering. So, if you have a kazayas, finish it in due time. In other words, don't hesitate, don't pause over it. In fact, if you nibble at it, and this would take you 10 minutes, for example, and rather than the fact you're eating constantly, it's not static. That's something a person should know. It's an important halacha. It's not static. If even he keeps nibbling and doesn't stop, but it takes him more than this time, there's no bracha chayim for it. Now, so this is the Kedei Chilas class, which is 9 minutes or less. When it comes to water, also you have to drink the prescribed amount of water in a certain period of time, and in the case of water, it does not take Kedei Chilas class. Much less, it's according to the time it takes you to drink about 4 ounces of water, so drink the levias, the time it takes you to use. Don't dabble, don't waste time over it. Have a halacha, this is tomorrow, we're going to detail, but in case where a person drinks slowly. So those slow drinkers, it's a very important halacha. Meanwhile, it's hope the Mazecha to be the Bala, the Yashlim, the Kayyur, the Mitzvahs, Berachas, B'Shleimus, which is the Kabbalah, Berachas, B'Shleimus, see, and then the Dias, which is the Kiruv. Baruch Aharon. Sharing is not good. The person drinks a hot drink, hot liquid, for example, coffee or tea. And this is very hot, and he has to drink only a drop at a time. Half a teaspoonful at a time. And it takes a long time to drink this cup, this glass. So it takes longer, and then a kedei achilas plus. It takes longer than prescribed time. We said you have to eat and drink a certain amount, within a certain time, you have to be chayav rachafinu. Drink the hot coffee or tea, you cannot drink that much within this short period of time. Therefore, since you cannot drink the entire time, the entire amount of that time, although it's drinking normally, but it's not the study, you cannot combine all the sips it takes, and it's not chayav rachafinu. This is what's correctly the Master Shaka Moses did. The other, the Chayadam, the Shulchan, the Chassidut, Halacha that the Chassidut and Shulchan would solve this problem. So what they do, they drink coffee and tea, they would leave over the end of the cup, into the glass, enough of the shear, let it cool off at the end, drink this one time, quickly they could be chayav rachafinu. This way it would solve the problem. And this is what a number of places can bring this. So well, most of the Achronim bring this chayim, especially these halacha ma'aser, but because this chayim, I know it's very strange, it comes out very strongly against us. He says that this is not normal. Normal way is to drink tea normally. If you leave over at the end, you're not really intended to drink it. Since you're not really drink it to have enough of it, so it's not considered a shtia, drinking, which should make it chayav. So therefore, if you want to be able to all of days, actually, it's best if you have something else to make it a shahakalan, whether it's a piece of candy or an item like that which requires a shahakal. This will cover the of course, a good size amount. A good size amount, you have a or you drink a regular other drink that's cool before you drink this hot, or drink cool afterwards, or something drink cold soda after hot coffee, hot tea. It's a good trick, like I said. In that case, of course, there's no problem with chachruta. So there's nothing else to say that the sak halacha of all these achronim should not be followed. Texas Chaim is one of the most powerful places on earth. But there's a rule in this case against all these achronim. So he would be there to either have another item to drink, or else, as is brought too, the two is the basis, just that you have that portion for you. You have a tiny course at the end of the tea, you already have enough it's cool enough to have a drink, the shear within the prescribed time. Not only that, but don't forget that the time itself, this money is so big, according to the Chasam Sofer, let me check it out, so it's different. When see inside, which is a non-mistake, I've seen different posting. The court of Chasam Sofer, some say he says 9 minutes, some says 8 minutes. For a Canadian class. Why this discrepancy? Not being saying good. My fault, I didn't look at the Shadow Chill itself. And anyway, it's either 8 or 9 minutes, that's for sure. At that time, no one tarries over a half a cup of coffee that long. So surely that should solve the problem itself. Giving Canadian class so wide a latitude of time should be no problem in finishing the Shia with Canadian class. The bracha for cake, after cake, is Alamechya. Here we have differences also in poskim as to how the bracha is. Bracha Hashem al haaretz ve'al ha'mechya, or some say al haaretz al mechya ve'al ha'kalkala. There are many poskim who argue this point. And I've seen people do both ways. Early is where I've seen Talmud Bavly that we say I want to try to and I've seen too, like some of our rabbis used to say, they do it this way: Hashem, Al Haaretz, Yal Mechya, Yal Kalkala. You don't say. It's finished that way. Haaretz Mechya, Yal Kalkala. In case it's supposed to be Yal Kalkala, then the other words you don't say this. It's not the same. They cut themselves both ways. That's what they always did. This is their custom. Of course, I'm suffik. It shows how big the suffik is. And we said, in our case, there's not much of a suffik because this is what I've seen. This is what I received. So we'd say, I want to hear period. Now, on wine, the bracha is how? Yaakov. That's what you got, you end on what is Yaakov. And fruit, especially for like you say, was Real P-H. And then, in case you had cake and wine together, and when you finish the bracha, you have the bracha ends at what is Al-Mechya, which means the cake part comes first. If you have all three, you say what is Al-Mechya, the Al Hapetz. These three in order. Mechya first, definitely second, Kodesh third. Always cake is eaten before. Cake is the first bracha said before any other food you eat. It's the first word of those three brachas when they're said together. And he then says that every person is mechuyev, the absolute necessity, obligation of each person's heart to learn this bracha by heart. So you can't find otherwise a sinner in here that's in a book. It's a small bracha. It's a very handy one to know. So put it in your pocket, the pocket of your mind, store it away there. Whenever you need it, you can call upon it. Also, this bracha is the Shalosh Jesus like the benching. So just like benching, there is a din. You must say when you are sitting, you're not allowed to stay during benching. This too should be said same way, sitting and not standing. Which is the say the brachas with Kavanah, the right ones in the Chavruta, and the receive the brachas with the Shemaim, say, yes, which we say together. Bracha Achrayda. Now we explained that the bracha of the Shalish, something that is part of the regular Bekas HaBosel. Regular Bekas HaBosel is called 3 brachas. The bracha for cake or wine, or it's fruit, it's called the Shalish, part of those 3. Actually, the Bekas HaBosel is 4. There are 4 brachas, but the 4th one is with the Avodah and later, so it's called still 3 brachas. This bracha is called the Shalish. We said this bracha has to be regarded the same chumras as we do the Bekas HaBosel. One thing should be done sitting. You're supposed to sit when you say the Bekas HaBosel, and the person should, just as a Bekas HaBosel should put his hat on, dress himself properly before saying this bracha. As you know, Bekas HaBosel is the most important of all the brachas that exist. with the biggest atayah. It's the one bracha which is with the Nosson. The Ein Shalish is not close. Now the Birkas Beli Nefashis, we said there is a machlekes. There are some who say that the Chassidut are called Moshe Barak. That's according to somebody Shaidim in the kiruv. So, of course, the Gemara referring to this Shaidim. And Rabbi Nachman says, Al-Kol Moshe Barasa. It's in Halacha. According to the Arizal is very much medactic that the word Shebarasa should be said, Al-Kol Moshe Barasa Dechach, and not Barak. The Bavly Shulchan here says that the Iker is, like doesn't say Barak, the evidence is the Iker is Shebarasa because the Arizal brings it as Halacha also. So, as the Kabbalah of the Halacha, the Moshe Halacha is Al-Kol Moshe Barasa. Also, according to the Arizal, the end of the bracha is Baruch Atah Hashem Chai Ha'elanim. He adds Hashem to it, but the Minhag is not like that. Mishmur says that though there are reasons for it, Minhag is not to say we Shem it in, we say Baruch Ha'elanim. Also, it didn't say that the person must say Baruch Chai Ha'elanim, and there again the Minhag is to say Baruch Chai Ha'elanim. Which proves that you have to be able to know did it with Hagen what was written in the chavruta. Because this one paragraph you have so many things where it says here Kitzer is one of the latest to clear them out. So I think this would be the final word. All these cases have been is not like that which says here. If a person ate fruit for which the bracha is Ein Shalish, and also fruit which the bracha is Menachem, apple and orange, what does he make after both of them? He makes only one bracha of Ein Shalish, and that covers the apple and the orange Menachem. Of course, the Ein Shalish is Halacha 8, so Halacha 8, that covers all types of fruit. And if he made a bracha, if he ate the fruit of Halacha 8, and if he ate something which is a shahaka, which requires better nefashis, not as fruit, that better nefashis cannot be covered by Halacha 8, because that requires a better nefashis for a shahaka. So he must make both the Ein Shalish and the better nefashis. Of course, the Ein Shalish comes first before the better nefashis. Again, a person is not supposed to walk out of his place when he eats anything which is better nefashis or a Ein Shalish. If he does, he should be sure to come back immediately and make the bracha where he is. Well, the difference is, though, that the Ein Shalish, he must go back to the place where he ate. But in the nefashis, you can make the bracha right where he lays himself. If a person ate or drank, did not say a bracha immediately, until when is he able to say the bracha? Until the time that it takes to have this food digested. So for a regular meal, we consider it approximately 4 miles, which is 72 minutes. After 72 minutes, after eating, when the food is digested, you can no longer say make us a reservoir in bed shower because the food is not there anymore. Otherwise, it's gone, the food has disappeared. And after eating a small amount, that is not benching, but the item which you have a better nefashis, then, or after drinking anything, and then it's as short a time as it takes to become again hungry or thirsty, which is a very short period of time, so the person should be very careful to concentrate on this point. If a person is not bucky, maybe a person does not tell, is he that hungry or that thirsty, is the time gone already? He cannot judge the time, and then he simply should take another item, make again the same bracha that he has just had before, and make one bracha achrina to cover the present